Benching 315 is not as far off as you think. This is a video I wished I watched when I started out trying to push to achieve this lifetime goal.
Push! Yeah. It took me so long, bro.
And trust me when I say, every setback that you've had with your journey, I have experienced myself. I am just the same as you. Now, the first thing that we need to talk about is if you believe that you can put up 315. I don't care whatever excuse you have. I'm too skinny, I'm overweight, I'm a hard gainer, I don't have the genetics, I can't break past plateaus. Cut that mentality out. It's not going to help you. I truly believe that anyone can do this if you have the courage to see it happen. David Goggins completed an ultra marathon with a broken leg.
I saw him at the race where he broke all the bones in his feet and participated in that race. It's the first time I saw him.
He broke all the bones in his feet?
Yeah, he was a 24-hour race as a relay team. I was with 4 friends. The format of the race is, you run a mile, I run a mile. Whatever team runs the most amount of miles wins the race. He had no teammates.
And he wound up himself.
Yes.
All that. Then he ran a marathon a month later.
Yeah.
He's a fucking animal.
What is your excuse? Now, benching 225 is impressive, but when you start envisioning to bench 315, that's when you really need to have all of these different techniques dialed in. But trust me when I say it's really not as hard as you think it is. Now, in this video, I'm going to cover 6 years of training experience condensed into all the best tips I discovered to help me bench 315 in my first 10 months of training. Yes, naturally, starting out from here, doing barely 1 plate, and now currently 6 years later doing 360 pounds for reps at 185 pounds body weight. Now, the first point I want to cover is packing on muscle and strength. Pretty generic advice, right? Wrong. I know that everyone starts out different. Some can relate to where I began being skinny, but some of you are probably starting out from the complete opposite. Wherever you begin, strength and size correlates to building muscle being in a caloric surplus. If I stayed at 140 pounds and tried to main gain to 315 bench, it would have taken me 5 years instead of 10 months.
Why should I do a bulk anyway? Why not just recomp forever? The answer is that you'll never build as much muscle through recomping as you will through proper bulking. You'll probably never reach your full muscular potential.
Now, what I did is not what I recommend, but at least I was on the right track nonetheless. Now, believe it or not, I gained 20 kilos in body weight in 10 months through a dirty bulk, and trust me when I say this was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do as a natural, and also being a hard gainer myself. Now, what obviously comes with this is gaining a lot of fat as well, but every workout I completed, my body had the nutrients afterwards to grow the muscle I needed. It just meant that later on I had a lot of work to do to lose that fat so that I had a shredded physique now 6 years later.
Bicep veins. I've got a vein that goes from my neck down to my shoulder.
Still benching 360 pounds. Now, if you want to gain muscle and strength 3 times faster, your body needs to be in a surplus to build muscle. It's pretty much that simple. Now, if you want to know like what sort of surplus you need to be in, what an appropriate surplus is, then I can cover a video on that. Just let me know in the comments, but I'm trying to keep this video short and sweet. Now, the next point I want to cover is progressively overloading and never staying stagnant. Now, time and time again, I will talk to people about their journey with their benching strength, and so often I hear the word plateau, and I have experienced this myself for short periods of time, but luckily for me, I quickly adjusted my problems that was causing me to stagnate with my strength. Now, I ask people seeking bench advice how often they bench a week, and a lot of them always tell me 1 to 2 times a week. There is your first problem. I was benching 3 times a week, pushing myself to diabolical failure every single session. Now, this worked so well for me because I was in a stage of newbie gains, and this is probably where you are at right now as well. And now, before you say, how can you train this much and this hard without fatiguing and getting burnt out? Trust me, 99% of you do not have this problem. Like Sam Sulek said, I would rather train too hard than not hard enough.
I'd rather go too far than not far enough. If you want results and then you basically just catch yourself slacking off and don't do anything about it, then it kind of sounds like you don't really want those results. You know the training style that's going to give you the best results? The one that you go the hardest with.
Maximizing on frequency of training is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. As soon as your muscles have recovered, which science shows is usually around 48 hours after training, why waste any time? Go run it back. Don't wait any longer than you should to take the opportunity to hit a muscle group again.
Although by the 48-hour mark, lifting performance had pretty much returned back to baseline for both lifts.
Now, the next point I want to cover is what should your progress look like and how fast should you be strengthening? Don't become complacent. Just because you've PR'd 260 pounds on the bench, I don't want to still see you doing the same weight the next month, unless you've maybe dropped like 8 pounds in body weight. For me personally, I was putting on an extra 2.5 kilos to my bench every single week to 2 weeks, but also continuously gaining body weight as well. One thing you need to take on board is don't track your progress session by session, especially if you're training 3 times a week on your chest. So many times I'd be strong one day and then weaker the next. This was because usually I just maxed out my bench PR the previous session, and now I was feeling the fatigue with it that day. But this doesn't mean that you cut down your training. It just means that you're underloading your weight this session, and more than likely in the next session or 2 sessions, you're going to PR your bench once again. And this is what I experienced. So I highly recommend that you keep a tab of your progress every 2 weeks if you're in newbie stages of training, and if you're an experienced lifter, probably every month, but don't track your progress every single week. If you're training 3 times a week, that's not enough time to see where you're progressing. Now, I do quickly want to mention, guys, I am doing my first ever giveaway. I'm giving away $100 worth of Gymshark or Young LA to 3 of you guys. I'm not sponsored by Young LA or Gymshark, so if you don't want any of those things, I can just give you $100. But all you have to do is follow my socials. I'll put a link in the description of my Instagram, my TikTok, and then also subscribe with notifications. DM me on Instagram. I'll accept your DM, and then just send me through the screenshots, and then I'm going to put you into the giveaway. There's only about currently 250 people in the giveaway, so you have a good chance of winning. But let's continue on into the video. Now, the next point is exercises that correlate to your bench getting stronger. If you go to the bench and you only do bench press, you're not maximizing your rate of growth. Secondary exercises that correlate to helping your bench are crucial to adding into your routine. For me, that was shoulder press, incline bench, close grip bench. They're all crucial to adding into your routine, to strengthening your bench. For me, shoulder press, incline bench, close grip bench were all the main movements where if I got stronger on these exercises, you best believe when I came back around to bench again, I PR'd. Get stronger at shoulder press, incline, or close grip, get stronger at bench. It's pretty much that simple. Another thing I want to cover in this topic is familiarizing yourself with foreign weight. I only ever do this with a spotter. Now, what I mean by this is, have you ever had the feeling where you're lifting a new PR off the rack and you already know that you don't have the strength yet to lift it? This is because the weight is new to your body. Now, yes, I have failed many lifts, but I did it anyway because I wanted to fail. Doing a weight that you know you can't do and just coming down on the decentric with the bench and only pressing up like a fraction of the weight is a great way to familiarize your stability muscles throughout your chest and everywhere else on that heavier weight. And then the next time that you come around to benching feeling stronger in a session, this weight will not be so intimidating and will lead to being more likely to completing that lift. Now, the next point I want to cover is form. And yes, you've probably heard this time and time again, but listen up because you need to hear it again. Incorporating a small arch, leg drive, bar path was something that I wish I did at the very beginning. Now, luckily for me, I had a pretty informative training partner with many years of training. Shout out to Simo for helping me very early on to incorporate this into my bench press. And then once I learned these techniques, my bench strength actually came weaker temporarily, but God knows my strength blew up after I familiarized my body to press like this. So this video will take far too long if I was to cover all these different bench techniques that I use. So if you want to see a video on that, just let me know in the comments. But there are a lot of videos out there on YouTube that can help you, but let me know if you would like me to make one myself. Now, the next point I'm covering is supplements and diet. Now, I've already spoken about being in a surplus and how important that is when you're trying to gain strength and size, but what about supplements that can assist you with your progression as well? Now, Jeff Nippard said this perfectly. Think of your body as a car. The fuel that you put in your car is your food, and the oil, brake fluid, etc., things like that are all the components that you can add to make your car run smoothly or your body run smoothly. Now, I've made a video on the best supplements that you can take as a natural that can help you boost your testosterone, so go and watch that after this video if you just want to copy some of the same supplements that I take, that I have first-hand experienced to help me build muscle naturally. And the last point that I want to cover is your workout partner motivation. Throughout the entirety of my training, I had a very good workout partner partner who had many years of training on me to help me do this achievement so quickly. But luckily for you, all you have to do is just follow this video, and that can help you out a ton as well. But if you can get a workout partner that has the same goal as you, this is one of the greatest competitive drives that you can have for maximizing your growth and never falling into complacency. So me and a good mate of mine would continuously challenge each other to get stronger in every session, which is one of the highest motivators in the gym, and also having a spot is almost required for this type of training. So if you don't have a gym partner, then just never be afraid to go up and ask someone for a spot. I've done it a million times. No one is going to be annoyed by you asking for a spot. They're going to be more annoyed seeing you choking on the bench, not being able to get weight up. Never be afraid to ask someone for a spot. But anyway guys, I really hope that you took something out of this video. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm willing to do a far more in-depth video on increasing your bench press, covering a few more points in a lot more detail, but hopefully the general consensus of this can help you grow your bench strength as well. But anyway guys, I really appreciate you watching. Make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. If you want to enter the giveaway, follow all the steps in my description. Yeah, this video is a little bit different than what I usually post, but thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.